it was a big opportunity for Formula One to do racing in Las Vegas. It was a destination city, the glitz and glamour. It was a little bit like Monaco meets Singapore, a night race, a street race. The first thing that grabbed me about Las Vegas was the times, saying that they were scheduling races and practice sessions at like midnight and 1 a.m. And I was like, this is crazy. Who even wants to be going to events at that time? But people obviously did. But a long time ago, when Las Vegas started to appear as a reality, like it was going to happen, there was a lot of hype about having an F1 race on the strip, and F1 was investing so much money, and it was going to be crazy. It was going to be a huge party. Then the first thing I remember that was on the negative side was ticket prices. And people were saying, we cannot be having these ticket prices. They are really crazy. The F1 account and the Las Vegas event account started to respond to some of the backlash that was popping up on social media saying, look, we had lots of tickets that were more affordable. They all sold out. So there was a huge criticism over the costings of the tickets. Then there was the accusations that this has started to happen like a week or two ago. Like, is this race going to be ready on time? Is everything going to be finished? Are you guys going to have everything done? There are a lot of doubters saying, look, I think they might have everything done, but it's going to be close. This is very much like, Russian Olympics concern about things not being finished on time. From all reports, everything was fine and everything was finished, except for one notable thing, which we'll get to next. But there was this weird combination of hype and just weirdness, things that just didn't seem right. On the plus side, we're on the strip. We're driving past all the casinos. There's the Sphere, of course. Everyone's been making such a big thing about the Sphere. One of the things they didn't finish, though, is, the track, it seems. The ground. They didn't get around to finishing the ground. F1 stewards want to waive Sainz Vegas grid penalty, but can't. Pro Carlos Sainz takes off for his first lap around this new Grand Prix. Everyone's settling in after all of the conjecture, all of the fear. We won't even get to do this race. It costs us an absolute arm and a leg. People have removed parts of their body and sold them on the Silk Road to try and get to this damn race. But here we go. Let's settle in for practice one. They go out for a couple of minutes. Carlos Sainz hits a manhole, wrecks his car. It's absolutely screwed. I mean, the car was bad.
The car is bad, we know. Please drive it.
Well, he couldn't drive it because it was so bad. And it just ruined the day in so many ways because, number one, they had to replace a whole bunch of bits on his car. I think he had to replace his whole power unit. And as a result, he got a penalty. And he said, well, wait a second. This is your track. This is your surface. That was your manhole that wrecked my car. That's not our fault. That's your fault. But the fact is, to get the car going, they had to do repairs. They had to replace parts. And that gets penalties because that's what the rules are. Carlos Sainz faces a minimum 10-place grid penalty for Formula One's inaugural Las Vegas Grand Prix. Despite Ferrari's best efforts to get the stewards to waive the sanction, after the extraordinary incident that destroyed Sainz's car in first practice, and despite the stewards admitting they would have preferred not to penalise him, Sainz struck a loose water valve inspection cover along the strip, which caused FP1 to be abandoned and FP2 to be delayed by 2.5 hours. We'll get to that next. Ferrari team principal Fred Vasseur was angered by both the extent of the damage and the potential danger his driver was exposed to, calling the debacle unacceptable. F1 technical delegate Joe Bauer reported to the stewards that Sainz's chassis, combustion engine, battery, control electronics unit were damaged beyond repair by the incident, in which a secondary impact related to the unusual bump Sainz's car suffered also damaged his seat. They sought exemption from the stewards due to highly unusual external circumstances. In an unusual ruling, the stewards included Gary Connell and Derek Warwick. Somehow Derek Warwick is involved in all of the most controversial calls in Formula One. I don't know why. The stewards note that if they had the authority to grant a derogation in what they consider in this case to be mitigating unusual and unfortunate circumstances, they would have done so. However, the regulations do not allow such action. Poor old Carlos, he qualified well enough to start on the front row, had to start outside the top 10. Not a good look. The other problem, aside from the damage inflicted to Sainz and Ferrari and the FIA and the stewards' reputation, was what to do for that day, because obviously they had to repair the track and get things running again. So FP1 was basically called off. FP2, people hoped was still going to happen. And so then they delayed FP2 as long as they could. And I guess it was supposed to start at like midnight local time or 11 local time. And it got delayed and delayed and delayed. And then it got to the point where FP2 was going to start at 2 a.m. local time. and they told people, we're sorry, you just can't stay this late. This is Las Vegas, the party town, the town that never sleeps, which is, I assume, why the race was on so late in the first place. Because, I mean, the Las Vegas time zone is not that great if you're on like the US East Coast or anything like that. It's not like it's a great time zone over there. It's a pretty good time if you're in Australia, which I've come to learn means if it's a good time zone in Australia, it's a bad time everywhere else. But it's not like it was a great time zone, so I don't really understand why it was that late anyway. But it got pushed even later. And it got to the point where they were like, the track is fine, the cars will run. We know you've paid a horrendous amount of money for these tickets. Thank you, but you have to leave. And they're like, what? But the police literally, all the people who were there, the diehards who were trying to hold on and get their money's worth, they had to leave. The police came and escorted them out. The police even said, we get it. We think this sucks. You bought a ticket to this and you have to leave. We get it. We think that's horrible, but we have to do this. Kicked out, Las Vegas Formula One fans offered $200 voucher. No refunds or apologies. After hearing about the ordeal, Max Verstappen said he would tear the whole place down if he were a fan. Noteworthy, Max Verstappen didn't tear the whole place down, so breaking here confirmed Max Verstappen not an F1 fan. The day's first practice session was cancelled after 8 minutes, and fans who stuck around for the long-delayed second session that eventually started at 2:30 a.m. local time were kicked out by event organisers. Fans with a ticket only to Thursday's running were not given a refund by organisers, just a $200 voucher to the event shop. 3-day ticket holders didn't even get that. A lengthy joint statement includes no apologies to fans at the track, something that Motorsports John Noble notes may be a form of legal protection against a future lawsuit. Well, yeah. So if you bought a 3-day ticket, the thinking was, we're very sorry that you didn't get any action on Thursday, but you still got the action on Friday and Saturday, being qualifying in the race to look forward to. But if you only bought a ticket to the Thursday free practice sessions, and there was literally only a couple of minutes worth of action you got to see, you got a $200 ticket. Now that's at the event shop, so presumably you're going and buying Gunther Steiner mug, Christian Horner tie, that kind of stuff. Toto Wolff breath mint, all that stuff, all that overpriced stuff at the $200. Like $200 doesn't get you much. You wanted to buy like a Red Bull embossed, like a embroidered shirt. That's like $150 with inflated pricing for the event specific apparel. The $200 is not even enough to cover an entire McLaren jacket before taxes. Get one of them and like a little, I don't even know, like a fountain, like a snow globe or something. I guess there's something to do with the sphere you could probably get as well. I was meant to be one of the things as well. While we're talking about the spectacle of Las Vegas, there's so much made about the sphere and how good the sphere is going to be. And they had some good graphics that were pretty interesting. But one of the times, I think it was during qualifying, at the end of qualifying, they drove past the sphere and the sphere was all lit up. And it just said, buy tickets to the Las Vegas sphere, scan this QR code. And it was like, what? You're there to provide art and like to heighten the visuals, not to promote yourself. That's lousy. I don't respect the decision not to give anyone a refund for not getting any action on the Thursday. I can understand the decision legally or whatever, but I don't respect it. But it takes nothing. It makes you complicit for nothing to say we're very sorry. And that's the least they should have done. We're really lucky that the Las Vegas race itself was actually pretty good. Lots of overtaking, some good action. Lots of developments happening throughout the race. Let's just hope that the action that we saw during the race on Saturday in Las Vegas is what we get more of throughout a whole weekend next year.